Hi everyone, it's Burgess. I wanted to paint ripples on the sea using watercolor and the wet on wet technique. This is going to be my second attempt. I did try once before, and this is the result that came out, and I wasn't really happy with it at all. So I'm going to be doing it again. Um, not really happy with that at all. So I'm going to try and do it again. Uh, Maybe I think the paper dried out too quickly. So what I'm going to do is I've already laid down a wash of Viridian to about 2/3 of the paper, just actually maybe a little less than 2/3, and I've let it dry as an underwash. And I'm going to wet the sky area with water. I just want to put a simple sky in again. It's very, very simple. And so what I'm going to do is just take some ultramarine blue. And maybe just to lift out a bit too much here. Yeah. You can even sort of lift out with the end of the brush here like that. There, and now I'm going to leave that as it is. And now I'm going to work on the water area. And this is where we use a lot of Prussian blue. And for this I'm going to use a sort of a round brush, maybe different round brushes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet the paper first. And I want it quite wet because, oh, you can take that off now. Take that off. We can wet the sky, oh sorry, wet this sea area. And we want it quite wet because the one thing we don't want is for it to dry out in the middle. Once it starts drying out, you get those hard sort of edges coming in. So, and that's what happened, I think, with the other one. I think the paper dried too quickly, maybe. So I think that's sort of wet enough, I think. So we're just going to get blue and just maybe tiny small marks in the distance there. Again, I don't know how this is going to turn out because and we just keep making these horizontal strokes in the distance, thin ones. And I noticed the colors running all over the place, but I don't mind that. Hopefully it's not going to be a big problem. Make that larger maybe. Now as we come closer, we just make the the idea is to try and get it the shape of waves, sort of ripples on the water. And you want the paper to be really sort of wet. And you want all the colors sort of like merge in. And if you notice that things are drying in the middle, you can always go back in. You can. You want the paper to stay sort of wet. Let's take this out. The idea is to just keep sort of layering and make it sort of quite dark. And you keep layering. And I think the important thing is to not have too much water in your paint mix. And what I've done is I've taken a pan of the Prussian blue and I've literally just spritzed it with water, and I'm sort of picking up colors just from that. Now, at some point, the Prussian blue is going to become as saturated as it can be on the paper, no matter how much more you keep adding. Now what I'm going to do is At some point, I'm going to add black to this just to darken it even further. I don't know whether this is any better than the previous one. I'll show it to you once I've finished so you can sort of compare and let me know whether it's any better. Yeah, look, I'm still adding. Now I'm going to take some black and I'm going to just sort of vamp some of the colors up. You know, I do find, and this I find very frustrating, and that is that for some reason, Prussian blue doesn't seem to render very well on camera. And that's in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, does it look like Prussian blue? I don't know. I mean, I've tried the camera settings of everything, and it still doesn't look like proper Prussian blue. Now I'm going to go back in with Prussian blue and just, this is getting on the other paper now. Light touch with the tip of the brush. I mean, I have a rigger and I could use that, but what if you don't have a rigger? Then you know, just use a very fine pointed brush. Okay, I think I'm about done there. Maybe just a few more sort of marks, sort of. And what I'm doing is not making horizontal marks. A lot of the artists that you'll see on YouTube are making horizontal marks. I'm actually making these waves going up and down. Okay, so that's done. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't really want to do this, but I think it might be an idea just to give it a bit of context. You know, in the distance, I'm going to put a little bit of a, I don't know, a sort of a mountain or something. And what I'm going to do is take some Payne's Grey for that, just in the distance. Just in the distance, and I'm just going to draw a little something. It's just nothing sort of substantial, just to sort of stand out and to give it a bit of context or setting. I think a little bit more there. I think it should be darker. Just maybe a little bit, not too much. I think need to add a bit more. We can darken it towards the point where the mountain meets the water. And I think we're done. Oh, should we put a couple of birds in? I'm sort of feeling a little bit, just off today really. Let's just use the black, be easier to get at. I just feel a bit off today. Anyway, yeah, so let's just put a sort of bird sort of coming in along here. Maybe another one. There. And I think it's better. I don't know. I mean, let's compare it to the one we have here. And it's got hard edges, as you can see. A lot of hard edges. And I don't know, it just didn't have the wet on wet effect. Whereas this one sort of does have it, and I'm slightly better with that. A little bit happy with that. So if you did like it, give it a thumbs up, and do consider subscribing, and leave a comment. and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.